Hi everyone, Paul Morbid here, Morbid Team Entertainment and Bolex Repair Philippines, out here filming my experimental horror film, SIJ, It's All About Choice, with my Fujica ZC1000. So we're getting some good footage there, which is well due. It's a good sunny day and a good time to catch everything. We've got some original Aura 25 in here, so I'm going to keep going with it. Okay, so next I'm going to be filming with my Fujica Single-8 Z800. Alright, so I got a scene coming up here. I'll be filming it in manual and in auto. See which one I like best. Okay, so in automatic I filmed at 2.8, manual almost 4. So later after processing I'll see how that looks and which one I want to use. Maybe use both of them, and then do the film painting and scratching and stuff like that. Okay, so I actually had some issues with securing a prop, a gore prop, to an object, and I had to use on the back of it some thread because the wind was blowing really badly. All right, so that worked out really well, and you can't even see it. So once I got that out of the way, so filming with my Fujica ZC1000, I had to catch the light correctly. I had to get enough sunlight mixed in with the prop for a proper exposure right there. And then after filming for a while, I'm standing there, you know, when I'm first getting and set up the gore prop, you know, I hear some, you know, across the street I hear some man and woman whispering behind me. And then when I finally kind of out of my peripheral, I'll turn around, and that guy, he's standing there, he's looking at this gore prop, you know, in complete disbelief of what's going on. He just can't comprehend the situation. So, you know, that's that. You know, filming alone, low budget, welcome to it. Okay, so one thing I do want to share with my Fujica Single-8 ZC1000 is that I'm catching a scene with some light and dark. So what I've got to do for the exposure, I've got to catch enough sunlight in a certain area and the prop. So just using my clapboard, you can, it's up in the tree up here, okay, and I have to catch it just right and off to the side to get enough sunlight in the sky and the prop itself, because the prop is dark and the sky is bright, of course, just like so. So when I zoom in like that, I've got the needle right in the center, okay, and get what I want. So that's the trick of it. So I don't want to use any false lighting. You know, to me, using as much sunlight and natural light is the best. So that's what I'm working up against right there. All right. Okay, here's something I do want to share with you. Now, today I've been using original R25, but this is the RT200 original vintage, and I was using some for some indoor shots earlier, okay, and then I heard a sound, you know, you kind of get that feeling, you know, and I opened it up, took it out, and I want to show you this right here, what I discovered. Look, right here at the end of my pencil eraser, and I'll advance this for you. Alright, so I'm going to turn this once I get it hooked on. See there? It's torn. Okay, so I suspect that's going to look pretty good, and I'm not worried about this right here. Only this part of the film is going to be exposed, so no big deal. Alright, and in parts where this is exposed right here, I can do some scratching and painting on the acetate. Okay, after I remove this right here. A lot of creative stuff. So I'm an older guy, And I remember when all this stuff was in its heyday, the film was very inexpensive, not like it is today. And we all guesstimated of what our film was going to look like, you know, and we didn't worry about it too much. Took it and had it processed. When it came out, we're like, oh, okay, you know, that's what it's going to look like. We didn't think twice about it. So I just want to share that with you. This can end up looking real good, so don't worry about it. If you have something like that happen, you can end up removing this, and I'll put a link in there how you can do it. If you want to, you can ask, and you can remove this right here, these portions. You can scratch it, you can paint it, all different types of stuff. It'll look really cool for experimental filmmaking. All right. So this is original vintage Fujichrome R25. All right. So what you can do is learn how to make this properly notched right here to accept Kodak 100D, and that's what I'm working on. Some others have done it, and I'm trying to figure that out myself. So once I do that, then I can load via a change bag Kodak 100D in here and just use Super 8 film to load in here. If you want to learn more about that and how to load the Super 8 film inside of a single 8 cartridge, you check out my video on that. You can request it, or I can just post it in the description. Alright, so that's that there. And it's really easy to do. You know, the trick is just learning this right here. And there's actually another individual who has made some cartridges. You can download, you know, the free information. I can actually put that in the description as well. You'll find that very interesting and helpful. And we're grateful to that individual as well. All right. So I'm keeping filming, working all this stuff out, and the big thing about when you're working with your own vintage equipment, either you send it off to a service technician for repair, or you learn how to do it yourself. So with me knowing how to do it myself, you know, still, it takes a long time, you know, to be able to do that. You juggle your family life at the same time, and then filming, and then traveling with filming at the same time. You know, that type of a deal. So, you know, it's a big involvement. It really, really is for such low budget material and that type of thing. You've got to want to do it and that type of thing, and have a real passion to do it. You know, so if you're looking at getting into it, number one, it's expensive. Film is expensive. The equipment, you don't want to buy junk cameras and send them off to a service technician. You know, they don't want any type of rust buckets. You know, so you got to know what you're looking at. You got to have good communication between the seller and yourself in videos and photos. And it's really good to be there at the location and check the camera out yourself. You know, and ask questions, you know, to technicians. You know, does this look good? Is this correct? You know, you want to just look through the viewfinder. You see any rust, corrosion? You know, if the camera looks bad outside, it's going to look bad inside. It's going to have rust and corrosion in there, so stay away from that. That's one big tip I would suggest. Okay? And you're going to have to, depending on how much vintage equipment you use, you're going to have to repair all that type of stuff. You see this viewer behind me right here? Okay, that's how I edit right there. I'm not using computers, you know. Just not my cup of tea, you know. You know, I grew up in you know, in the 70s and the 80s, and the way to view and look at it the best and edit with a viewer editor. You know, cut and splice right there. That's it. All right. When you're filming, what you see is what you get, and you have to kind of guesstimate what it's going to look like on film. And when you get it back from the lab, then you're going to know. And you have to make two choices, one or two choices. You know, you're going to send it to your film to a lab to have it processed, or learn to do it yourself. You know, people who process them themselves are real chemists. They're really intelligent people. You know, they really know about this stuff. You know, and if you're just going to be filmmaking, you may not have time for that. You know, you may just want to send it to a lab. All right. So that's about all I can think of at the top of my head. For those of you who are just starting out right there. Okay. Do contact me at the social media outlets provided on the screen, and remember, as always, do subscribe. All right. So until next time, later.